Hello and welcome back to the Binge Thinker, episode 28. My name is Jameel Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here as always. As you know, I've been on a bit of a sabbatical, but I am back. I am energized, reinvigorated, and have I got some things to share with you, dear listener, dear watcher. So today I'm going to talk about my trip. I went overseas for a couple of weeks, a bit of a break. Needed to get out, get a fresh perspective on life, enjoy myself. You know, we've all been cooped up for a few years now, and it's been 4 years since I've been overseas last. I had to go overseas for work anyway. I mean, a real elbow twist there, a real arm twist. But hey, had a lot of fun. Had a lot of synchronicities, got a lot of memories, got a lot of fun things to talk to you about. So let's fucking kick it off. So, where was I? When I last talked to you guys, I last talked to the gang, the binges. I was pretty cooked, pretty burnt out. Doing a lot of things at once, spinning too many wheels in too many directions. And, I think there was just another general malaise. That was the last context, the last episode, So now had to take some time off, had to reconsider my life direction a little bit, the things that I'm working on, why am I working on these sorts of things, just have some space for me. I was really physically run down there for a while. The mindset wasn't quite as sharp as it's been in the past. And, you're always going to be a little bit, you're always never going to be at perfectly optimized states all the time, but I could tell that, the states of mind had just, slowly deteriorated. I was not upwardly trending, or at least maintaining my state of mind, or just the right systems in place to keep me optimistic, to keep me empowered. Right? And these are all things we talk about on this podcast. So I took a few weeks off. It's been almost 2 months since the last pod. So for the pretty much most of August, I just slowed down, didn't do any creative projects, did the bare minimum with my commitments that I had around running the comedy club. ACN took a bit of a pause with some of the projects that we were running, and I'll get to that in a later ep. And yeah, I actually had to go overseas. Because of a work conference, right? My company that I work for, Cisco, big tech company, has their global sales kickoff in Vegas every year. This is my first year going to Impact. So yeah, they pay for a fucking all expenses paid trip for 4 days. They pay for the flights, accommodation, all of the food for 3 to 4 days, whilst they tell you about the latest and greatest in their sales and technology portfolio. And as a technology seller, I get to fly over every year and be part of that, which is pretty neat, right? God bless big tech money. God bless capitalism, right? I got to say, this would have cost the company around $100 million US for sure. It's not a small expense. They get about 15,000 people from all over the world. Every salesperson in Cisco, big global company, 6th biggest tech company in the world. They fly them in. 3 hotels on the Vegas Strip completely sold out. Massive convention center booked out for the week. Everyone's got their own hotel room, and they're bloody nice hotel rooms as well. Whew. I thought I was in the honeymoon suite for a second. It was quite sexy. I might throw some clips up as a bit of B-roll for the YouTubers, right? The faithful watchers as well. If you aren't watching, by the way, which is an absolute shame for this week, I am wearing some fucking glorious shit at the moment. I got this fantastic shamanistic Tex-Mex robe while I was in Austin, but we'll get to that in a sec. So yeah, I got to go overseas. I was originally planning to go to Burning Man, but unfortunately I could not get a ticket in time. Wow, it is absolutely pissing down outside. It's great to be back in Melbourne. Not. I've been in 35-degree heat for the last 2.5 weeks, and now I've come down at fucking pissing rain. Oy. But, yeah. What was I talking about? Fuck, I've already lost my train of thought. The show is back to normal, people. Holy shit. So got to fly in. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Good to be back. Oh yeah, so was gonna fly in. I was supposed to go to Burning Man. Didn't get a ticket. Was really planning on going and doing it solo, which is a colossal effort on its own, right? If you don't know about Burning Man, it is known as a festival, but I consider it a spiritual experience, and so are a lot of the people that do it. Burning Man is it's a week-long experience in the Nevada desert in Black Rock City, where there is no commerce. You are completely self-sufficient. There are arts installations put everywhere, and it's supposed to be this really connected human experience where there's this gifting and economy where you are supposed to share and connect with others without the expectation of any reciprocation. The idea is, to really share the human experience as it is without commerce getting in the way. You can't buy shit. Um, there's no commercialization of it whatsoever. Although, people are increasingly using things like RVs and everyone's taking photos and videos of their experience and things like that. That's naturally going to happen, but at least it's not brought to you by fucking Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? So I didn't get the tickets initially. I already planned for this way too late. The initial ticket run is in like March. I only started looking at it in like July, August. So I was way too late. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to extend this trip to Vegas. I'm going to take a week and a bit of annual leave and just go check out other parts of the US I've been curious about. So for me, that was New Orleans. Wanted to go down south this time. Previously, I've been to California and on the West Coast. I've done the East Coast. I was like, all right, let's try the South. Let's see what's going on down there. So I went to New Orleans, and then I wanted to go to Austin. And why I wanted to go to Austin is because so many of the people that I look up to in a range of fields, comedy, technology, spirituality, which is, a lot of what this podcast is really, were there. They live there. People like Joe Rogan, Aubrey Marcus, who I've talked about in this pod, Tom Segura, who has created YMH Studios, which is, for me, a blueprint of what I would love ACN to be one day. Other spiritual coaches and influencers, Tim Ferriss. People would know Tim Ferriss from his amazing podcast, his books, The 4-Hour Workweek, The 4-Hour Chef, a person that's really into optimization and peak performance, right? So all these influential people have chosen to make Austin home. Elon's there as well. Elon Musk lives in a fucking shitty little tiny house in Austin instead of some mega mansion, and probably just sleeps in the Tesla factory more often than not. So if all these powerful and influential people are at Austin, I've got to see what's going on there, right? So I go. I booked the trip, rather. So I take a couple of days for myself in Vegas. So the conference starts like the 28th. I get in on the 25th, a couple of days early, so I can just enjoy myself and acclimatize, I need a break. So I have a bit of time to myself. It's not my first time I've been to Vegas either. I went a few years ago, 4 years ago. And we'll get to that interesting part in a sec. But yeah, got in a few days early and enjoyed myself, right? The great thing about flying from here to Vegas is that you gain time. So I left on the 25th, 7 a.m. from Melbourne. Even with transit and crossing back across the date line, I landed same day, the 25th, at midday local time. So even with this, 17, 18 hours worth of, it's probably more than that, to be honest, probably about 20 hours worth of logistics. I'm basically, it's only been like a 5-hour trip, and I'm like, holy shit, I've got so much extra time to go explore. Now, funnily enough, I actually ended up staying in a very similar place to where I stayed the last time I was in Vegas in 2018. And I stayed in a hostel. I stay in hostels when I travel, and I travel alone because you want to be where the people are, right? You want to mingle. You want to get around things. You want to be where the energy and the communication is. If I'm in some shitty fucking hotel or I'm not to be a nice hotel on the strip. I'm isolated from people, right? There's nowhere to socialize. Everyone's a stranger. So I like going to hostels, right? For good and for bad. And we'll get to that in a sec. So here's one of my first day I get to Vegas is a pretty hectic one on its own, man. Like I gotta say, there's something about, I don't know what it is about. Is it synchronicity? Is it the path I'm on? Is it just, you know, there are these cycles. We all have cycles in our lives, right? In varying degrees. But funnily enough, this is the second time that I had been to Vegas on my birthday. And the first time I went was the first time I traveled solo in my life. And I was completely on my own through California, San Francisco, Las Vegas in 2018. This is when I was still with my ex. And it was a complicated time in my life in 2018 because, I was starting to really feel, that gut sensation about that internal friction, the intuition about where I think I should be, or, starting to feel a sense of, like I could be my own individual and be my own person. Because up until that point, I'd thought about it, but I'd really been afraid of being on my own and not being partnered with Case or whoever, or just being my own individual because of, some pretty low self-esteem issues, right? So that was it was the start of the spiritual journey and the real acceleration of that that idea that I could be my own individual, be my own person, really. So to be back here in Las Vegas 4 years, almost exactly to the day, you can't help but recognize the cycles in life. And 4 years ago, I was a completely different person to the person that I am today. I was definitely not fit, wasn't spiritual, I wasn't paying attention to the broader world around me, very much caught in my ego, a very hurt and traumatized individual. Like none of the transformation had happened, right? So you come back to this place and you've got a different perspective on things. You've got a different perspective on life and what it can do for you. And also, Vegas is a fucking experience on its own. So I did not feel adequately prepared for it last time. And now, this time around, I was all right. So I knew what to expect, right? In Vegas, nothing happens during the day. All the fun stuff happens at night. Fun stuff, so to speak, in air quotes, right? Because it's too fucking hot to be outdoors. It's like 39 degrees and it's a hot, dry heat. And it hits you like a fucking ton of bricks because you're mostly inside the casinos or the hotels, just enjoying all the shit they use to keep you in there. So eventually you'll spend money and gambling or in the events that they put on, right? So just like sometimes if you go to like Crown Casino or any casino, you can't, there's no way to tell the time when you're in there. You're just in this overstimulated, air-conditioned, synthetic, electronic environment that's designed to really just, stimulate the senses and give you that hyper-realistic version of reality that they want you to have. Everyone talks about, Vegas being, Sin City and, you can have everything, you can indulge however you want, which doesn't really vibe with me nowadays. And I've come to realize that at the end of the trip, I was like, fuck, I don't really vibe this. It's not really my thing. You can certainly have some enjoyable experiences there, but it would take your soul if you were stuck in Vegas for too long, right? Because it's literally just like that strip of overstimulation, and the rest of it's nice, but it's like you're in the fucking desert, man. They built it in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's just a hot, dry strip that they forced infrastructure into for some reason so people could gamble and do crazy shit there. That's really all it's there for. It's just a little corner of debauchery in the American ecosystem. But anyway, my first day. I get in there, I land at midday. Um, American Airlines leaves my bag in LA in transit. Hooray! So I just have to go to the hostel. Thank God I got my phone and some cash on me with my travel card. Head to my hostel, check in. It's, think like Breaking Bad, sort of like hot, dry disparity, right? Think of like New Mexico, Albuquerque, that almost that yellowy tinge that they put in that film on a TV show. That's what it feels like to be in Vegas during the day, particularly if you're away from the strip, which where I was. I'm between the old strip and the new strip. Old strip is Fremont, pretty cool place. So I'm there, and I know just to relax, adjust to things, chill out. So I go out to Old Vegas, to like the Arts District. It's a nice little niche of Vegas that's just for the locals, really. Have a nice meal. On the way to getting the meal, I bump into a dispensary. And yeah, so weed, marijuana is legal in Nevada. And I knew that because it was legal the last time I was there as well. So I was like, fucking sweet. Get in there. I swear to God, it's so crazy that, like, just the amount of commerce that exists in America. Everything is focused around commerce and making a dollar and just service, right? Because that's how they make their money. They know that you have to draw as much commerce out of you as an individual that they can through upselling and tips. It's a strange system. It really is just, America is just designed to take money from you every which way it can. It's a real shame, and it's probably why we always knew America was for sale, but just it is pure capitalism, and that's probably not a good thing, right? Although I just said how good is capitalism before, which I still stand by, but it's just a bit too much over there. But I got the fucking sweet deal on some weed, by the way, because they were clearing it out. Some of the strains that I like, sativas, uplifting, more cerebral highs. So I go there, I get 5 1-gram pre-roll joints and 10 milligram gummies for like $15 US. Oh, that's a fucking bargain, man. 5 grams of weed and a bunch of edibles for $15? Are you fucking crazy? So I'm like, bang, win. Grab that, head on my merry way, get some food, do a little bit of roaming around. And at this rate, I'm like, what kind of sucks though? I'm like, I'm in travel clothes. I'm in pants and a black t-shirt, which is terrible to be in 39-degree heat whilst you are in Vegas, right? So I'm sweating. I've been in a fucking smelly plane with like 200 farting, stinky individuals on a long haul flight. Like, I'm not feeling fresh at all. It's kind of gross. And you know what also is, this is something I think about a lot, is I've read this fact somewhere and it sort of makes sense to me. It's like, apparently when you're on a long haul flight and they open the door, it fucking reeks, right? Because even though they've got the air system circulating air, you're circulating the same air and it's filtering it. But it's like you've got like 150 to 200 people just like being the grotty humans that they are in an enclosed space. You're all shitting in a centralized area and it might get sucked out, but there's still poo particles everywhere. You're farting. You're probably not eating right or feeling a bit sick because you're eating shitty airplane food. Oh my God. Yeah, sidetrack, as is my brain. I'm on the flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, right? So I've gone Melbourne to Sydney, Sydney to LA, LA to Vegas. On the Sydney to LA flight, The dude next to me, I like an aisle seat. I don't like the middle seat or the window seat anymore. I used to love the window seat. Now I'm an aisle seat guy. I just like there's a bit more room. I don't care if I get nudged once in a while. Anyway, I go. So I'm sitting down. There's a dude next to me, just a bloke, probably in his mid-20s, maybe about my age. And he does not look good. He looks like shit. And he looks visibly uncomfortable being where he is. And we're just sitting, we just sat down on the plane. We're not even taxiing yet. We're just getting on the plane. And this guy's moving around, like rolling around and putting his head in his hands. Like he's actively suffering. And then we're not even taxiing, right? And he's flop sweating. And then out of nowhere, he grabs the vomit bag and this piece of shit throws up. He throws up when we haven't even left yet. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? And I've just got to, literally, I'm like, 45 centimeters away from some dude vomiting? And I hate vomit, man. And there's smells there. And he's throwing up. And it's making me feel sick now, just thinking about it. And so he's throwing up, and I'm like hanging over the side of my seat, just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then he's throwing up so much that he has to get a second bag, and he has to double bag the vomit bag. And I'm like, fuck me, what is wrong with this guy? Has this cunt got COVID or something? Like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, am I going to get sick being next to this piece of shit for 15 hours or however long this flight is? God damn it. And he's like, yeah, sorry, bro. Yeah, I got really drunk last night. I'm super hungover. I don't feel well. And I'm like, you sure it's not COVID, bro? He's like, yeah, man, just a big night the night before. I'm like, how can you be like almost 30 and obliterating yourself to getting into hangovers? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong in your life that you have to put yourself in that state before you go overseas? Like, long haul flights suck as they are, right? A long haul flight is you being somewhere between 51 and 55% comfortable in a fucking space for 15 hours. That is a long haul flight, right? Are you comfortable? Just, right? Just comfortable. But also, there's 49% of you that is not comfortable because you know that you can't lie down on your seat and your legs are in this awkward position. So then to amplify that bullshit with feeling like dog shit from, sinking too much piss and throwing up, like, what are you doing to yourself, man? Make some better life choices, will ya? Anyway, this guy is so fucked up that he gets up from his seat, and again, we haven't even left yet, and he's sitting in like the flight attendants area. And I just ignore him. I'm like, fuck that guy, this motherfucker. So I go, but like 2 hours later, he hasn't come back to his seat. I've just been chilling there, just on my phone. I'm watching videos and movies and shit on the screen. I'm like, where is this son of a bitch gone? I go up to take a piss. He's in the flight attendant's area, and he's got the fucking oxygen on. And he's just there like, I'm like, fuck, man, how hungover can you be to need the oxygen in Australian airspace? Like, fucking hell. You have done yourself a number, son. Holy shit. Yeah, and anyway, he's just like, he was there the majority of the flight, over half the flight. He was in that bloody flight attendants area in the back booth where all the kitchen shit is. Just recovering. And I was like, fuck. What a start, huh? Thank God it got exponentially better from there. All right, there was a massive, another fucking massive sidetrack there. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I can't even remember where I was at with the previous part. Dispensary. Anyway, so I get, all right, let's post dispensary. Let's remember. Fuck, I've got so much to cover. Holy shit. Some of this, all right, let's cut some shit out. Some of the other crazy things, right, is just, with the Americans, man, there are so many NPCs in America. You know what I mean? NPCs, non-player characters. So if you don't know what an NPC is, it's just like, when you play a video game and there are just those non-playable characters. They're just characters that are in the game with a limited dialogue tree, right? They can only do so much in the game. They don't really have a personality. They just have this script of who they are. And that's it. And that's how they exist, right? There are so many of those people in America, man. Like when we say that America is fat and dumb, they are fat and dumb. They will incessantly talk about the dumbest things, the most inane questions, like third grader shit, and just the way that they talk to people, like it's just like, "Hey, how are you? Are you having a good day?" And that's they'll have those nice pleasantries, but it's just like small dumb talk all the time. And then some of them are just so dumb and reactive. Like they just think of the same dumb little thing that's in front of them. They don't really think more than one step ahead. And the NPCs piss me off. But talking about the commerce thing before, in Vegas, again, it's designed to take your money, right? One of the things I wanted to do was go see a Vegas show and just chill out the first day I got there. I met this cool dude called Greg at my hostel. I was just like, "Hey, man, want to hang out?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And I said, "Let's go do some shit." So we did. We went out to these, like, a bunch of shops. And then we're like, "You know what? Let's go out and do something. I want to go see Carrot Top. I want to go see some comedy. I want to see a big Vegas comedy show." I'm like, "Carrot Top's interesting. He's been around for a while. I'll go check him out." So I was like, "You want to go see Carrot Top?" He's like, "Yeah, sweet." So I smoke about half of these 1 gram joints. I've done it before, right? Last time I know my limits now, or most of them anyway, from the last time I was in the US. Because the last time I was in the US and there was weed was legal, I went to San Francisco and I got so high because I just smoked a full 1 gram joint to myself. I got so fucking high. I walked around the same block in San Francisco like 4 or 5 times, and they had lots of neon signs there. And I took photos of the same neon signs like 5 times, right? I was like, on my camera roll the next day, I'm like, why do I have so many photos of the same fucking neon sign? And then I look at the timestamps and I'm like, holy shit. I've done a block. I've walked the same block over and over again. And then just fucking, you've been like, "Hey man, that looks sick." And then just, what a fucking idiot. Anyway, so I smoke half a joint, right? I'm like, this will be fun. I'll go see some comedy, see what's up, enjoy myself. Go out there. We actually bump into this lovely Danish girl called Fear. Danish? Swedish? Danish. Denmark. Yeah, Danish. She comes along for the ride as well. She's a little 21-year-old traveling the US and then traveling Polynesia. Hello. If you're out there listening now, we became friends. So she comes along for the ride. So it's me, Greg, and Fia. We're going to go see Carrot Top, and this Asian lady who's at the ticketing stall for the Luxor casino where Carrot Top is, swindled me so fucking hard. As a salesperson, I've been in sales my entire career. I'm always watching out for techniques of people, of how they sell and how they engage with their customers. And this bitch got me good. She has her sales technique and her it's down to a fucking art, man. She must get a commission on these tickets because she upsold and bait and switch tickets They didn't have like a set ticketing system where it's like, okay, this section is X amount, this section is X amount. This bitch was just flipping around sales numbers and like costs of different tickets and not giving us the good seats and just finicking her way around trying to maximize getting like ticket sales out of us and probably charging overs as well. That's the thing, is they don't really show you in Vegas. There's no set prices in Vegas. That's a big thing for the events, right? They always show you at the end how much it costs. It's always fucking expensive, right? Like Vegas is expensive as shit. But she swindled us out of like $70 each US. And we didn't even get to see Carrot Top. Carrot Top, apparently, tickets to Carrot Top were like, I don't know, like $100, something like that. I'm like, I'm not seeing Carrot Top for $100, man. Like, that's a bit much. You know, because I'm thinking about the exchange rate. It's like $140. Fuck that. But then she like cross-sells us over to see the Blue Man Group. And I was like, all right, I'll go check out the Blue Man Group. They're interesting. I watch this shit on YouTube. They're, you know, this interesting artsy sort of community. Not community, they're an artsy sort of performance group. Combines music and yeah, they're cool. Check them out. I really recommend the Blue Man Group. So I'm like, all right, let's go see the Blue Man Group. $70-ish. I'm like, I can't be fucked dealing with this bitch any longer. I got to get out. I got to see this stuff. I'm almost just stoned off my head, so I just want to have fun. I go see the Blue Man Group, and they are amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. And then after we're done with that, me, Greg, Fia, we just get drinks. We're getting fucking blind. I'm fucking faded. You know, alcohol plus the weed, a couple of Red Bulls to keep me up. Because this is the first day that I was in Vegas, man. So I've been commuting for like 20 plus hours. I get there at midday, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to bed now. So I've done, 12 to 15 hours awake. We keep going until about 3 or 4 a.m. the next day, right? We get back to the hostel at like 3:34 in the morning, and we're still sipping Fireball. Greg fucks off, and then me and Fia have a little bit of a rendezvous, and then when we're done, we get to, it's 7:30 in the morning the next day. So I've been awake or been active without sleep, because I didn't really sleep on the plane, probably about 30, almost 48 hours, really, that I've been in this fucking cycle. So I'm like, holy shit, what have I done to myself here? Pretty hectic. But hey, I had fun. And so did everyone involved. It was a lot of fun. Just a nice memory, So yeah, that was day one. Fuck, we're almost in an hour into this fucking thing, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's going to be a long one. Let me fast forward a little bit. Oh, let me tell you about this fucking psycho. So, like I said, hostels. Let's talk about one of the lowlights of what during my trip, the Vegas part of my trip. Ooh, hello, a bit of chest there. Enjoy, everyone. So, like I said, hostels, good to meet full spectrum of people, for better or for worse. And this time it was for worse. So I turned 32 on the 28th of August. Happy birthday to me. Last time I was in Vegas, I had a fucking crazy experience. I convinced a guy to get a tattoo on my birthday. I went to a Snoop Dogg pool party. I got free bottle service. And then the day after that, I shit my pants because I was so hungover. That's a story for another time. But hey, how's that for a fucking teaser? So what's happened is a lot of my colleagues, they've flown in for the conference. We all hang out that night of the 28th and or the 27th into the 28th, right? So we're hanging out. We organize a bag. And I'm not much of a coke guy, I'll be honest. I'm not much of an uppers guy. I'm much more of a psychedelics and a weed person, as you know, for regular listeners of this pod. So what I did was the guy that I bought it, I bought it. I'm not good at cutting it up. One of my mates who is a pro and from England, cut it up, put a few slugs down. All right. And again, I'm not much of a coke guy. I didn't even really think about it. I was like, yeah, I'll just have this. And it was potent. It was good shit. Not this some shitty American stuff, right? So I am wired. And what happens is if I have too much coke and too many uppers, I get anxious. So within like 30 minutes of having this line, this big old slug, excuse me, I am full of anxiety. I'm just like, in my head, just like, oh my God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm just feeling it, right? Feeling this anxiety just in my chest, in my head. I've got to get out. I've got to slow down. I've done too much. But the good thing is that I'm not letting it overly succumb, right? Like I can feel it and I'm very anxious in my body. But my mind knows, thank God for mindfulness and understanding myself and my mental state and my nervous state. This is why you do these mental health tools, people. I am mindful of the fact that I'm feeling a significant amount of anxiety without it controlling me, right? And I was like, okay, I'm feeling anxious, quite anxious. Let me just, let it ride. Let's ride it out. Okay, let's ride it out. Let's hang out with some friends. I got split up with some of the friends that I had. So I was like, let me just be in their company for a bit, chill out, and just see if the anxiety subsides. Anxiety doesn't subside. It's like 3 in the morning or like 2:33 in the morning. Right? We're up, people still drinking and shit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting the fuck out of here. I need to go chill. I need to smoke a J or something and, bring this anxiety down. Because I've been anxious for like 2 hours plus. Fuck that, man. Like, good on me for trying to stick it out, but you gotta take the L at some point. So I go back to I'm still at the hostel at this stage. The next day I get to go into the hotel room that's paid for by the company. I go to the hotel, I go to my hostel. I'm in the outdoor smoking area. It's it's balmy. It's like probably like 23, 24 degrees. It's nice and warm outside. I'm smoking this joint and I'm just chilling. The weed works. I've done it in the past when you got to come down off MDMA or whatever it is. Smoke a joint. After about 15, 20 minutes of smoking, I'm relaxing. The anxiety's going away. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. I'm myself again. I'm just there, just thinking about shit, just having a good time, just vibing, right? This is like almost 4 in the morning now. Out of nowhere, through the hostel gates, the secure gates, this chick comes through. She's a brown chick, and she makes a beeline straight for me. And I'm like, okay, interesting. You don't really want a stranger coming directly at you at 4 in the morning in Vegas, right? Stranger danger. Anyway, she comes up to me. She goes, hey, you got a cigarette? I go, yeah, I got a cigarette. Here you go. She sits down right in front of me. We're like on a park bench sort of thing, like with a table, like a picnic table bench, that sort of thing. Sitting right across from me. Making some small talk. I'm like, hey, what you been up to? What's going on? She looks stressed. She looks miffed, right? I wonder if you can hear that rain in the background. Bit of ambient noise for you folks while it's pissing down outside. Hooray for Melbourne. Hooray for the La Nina event. It's going to be another wet summer. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Anyway, she's miffed. She's frustrated. She's having the cigarette. I'm just trying to get to know her, right? See how she's chill or not. She goes, you know what really shits me? I'm so angry. I didn't get to kill anyone today. And I'm like, whoa, okay, all right. That didn't expect that, right? And she starts talking about how angry she is, but people make fun of her. And she's so frustrated at people. And I'm stoned. I've just gotten over an anxiety attack and I'm bang straight into another one. Because I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch about? So she starts, talking about how she's like frustrated about life. She's struggling. And then she talks about like, do you know how many weapons I saw that I could have used today? Do you know how many weapons I could have seen and used on people today? I'm so fucking upset that I didn't get to kill anyone today. And I'm like, okay. Holy shit. So I'm trying to be empathetic. I'm trying to be kind. Trying to calm her down, take her off the ledge a little bit. Because she's visibly upset. It's not like she's fucking around here. She was genuinely angry that she didn't get to kill anyone. So this bitch has been on some fucking Nation of Islam rager all day, finally tuckered herself out for some reason and decides to just retire next to me and tell me about how she failed her mission. Oh. So I'm trying to talk her down. I'm riffing with her. I'm talking a bit of shit. She's Portuguese Indian from Brazil, I think. And I was like, hey, I'm Filipino Pakistani. She was raised Muslim. I was raised Muslim. So I'm trying to just relate to her. I crack a few jokes. She's laughing, but then she goes back into fucking bipolar mode. And she goes, ha, 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 and then just goes back to the fucking killing thing. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. So this keeps going for about 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, there's 3 or 4 people that come through the gate again. Bunch of younger people, I think, just a mix of people, individuals. And this fucking Portuguese chick just gets up and makes a beeline straight for them. And I'm like, fuck. What the fuck is she gonna do? Is she just gonna fucking, take her chance now? Like, what am I supposed to do about this? I don't want to be responsible for her fucking stabbing someone. She could just go to the kitchen in the common room, grab a fucking knife, and then go to town on these people. That's what I'm thinking. And there's that anxiety, is that weed paranoia? Maybe, but she's just threatened to kill people, right? So I'm freaking out. So I shadow her. I'm a bit behind her, just keeping an eye on her, right? I think there's about 3 or 4 people that was there. So they go into the common room of the hostel. There's a kitchen area. There's a lounge area. And I'm like, okay, what is she doing? What is she doing? So it turns out she kind of knows these people, right? There was another Portuguese girl there, some younger white girl, and then some older, Hispanic dude that was actually the night manager of the hostel. And I'm just like, I'm alert. I'm like, what's this bitch's next move? What's she doing? What's going on here? So she starts talking to one of them in Portuguese. So she seems to know these people. And I'm like, okay, interesting, but I'm still like on edge about what the fuck she's gonna do. So she starts talking Portuguese. I'm just keeping an eye on things to see what's up. And then I sort of pull the night shift manager aside because I've got to tell him, like, I don't feel comfortable in this situation. I don't feel comfortable that this this chick just threatened violence. And yeah, I might be a dude, I might be stronger than her, but hey, she still has the ability to pull a knife and she's still got the element of surprise up her sleeve. And I've just had enough. I've had a long day. I've had 4 hours of anxiety now. So I pull this guy aside and it's like, hey, buddy, you need to know this chick, she has threatened violence. She's obviously got some sort of mental disability or some sort of mental situation that's going on. You really need to keep an eye on her, or maybe you need to relocate her or call the cops or something because this ain't safe, right? If I was in your situation and I had heard what I had heard, I would not feel safe for the patrons of the hostel. And he's like, yeah, I kind of know what's going on. I know this accent is borderline racist, but I don't give a fuck. And I'll explain why. Yes, he's a bit of a tragedy. It's not bad. It's not bad. Anyway, whilst I'm talking to this dude, crazy Portuguese chick comes through, sees me talking to him, and like this, like, hey, you better watch out, sort of situation. And she gets the fuck out of there, right? Sort of peeks in and just fucks off. She knows that I'm dobbing. And I don't care. I'm fucking dobbing. I don't mind being a stitch in this situation. I'm doing things in the right here. So she walks away. I'm like, I gotta catch this bitch out. I've called her a bitch a lot, but she deserves it. And So she goes back into the common room with the other girls, and I'm just keeping an eye on her. I'm like, hey, you know what you said to me, right? And she's like in denial a little bit about it. She's like, I wouldn't do any of that. I wouldn't actually do those things. And then people are like getting a little bit curious about why there's this tension in the room, right? And I'm like, hey, I know what you said. It's pretty heavy. And I don't think people would appreciate knowing what you said being in this room. And again, it was like this tension, this back and forth, what's going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm biting the fucking bullet here for everyone's sake. And I just called it out. I called it out to the room. It was, again, the two girls and night shift manager dude. I'm like, you need to know that this girl has said some pretty violent things and, has incited violence whilst you guys weren't here. And I don't feel particularly safe in this situation. And if you knew what she had said, I don't think you would either. Right? So I called it out. And I have no regrets about it. Right? For the safety of everyone. And so the energy changes ASAP. It's gone. Right? Shifts. And now there's a standoff about like, huh? What are you talking about? What's going on? And so they sort of question the Portuguese chick, all three of them, about what's going on. He was like, oh, I wouldn't actually do it. I wouldn't do that actual stuff. And I'm still like, hey, I heard what you said and the way you said it. I back myself in here. I'm an upstanding individual. You've got some problems you need to deal with, and I don't think you're in the safest environment to do so. And I don't think anyone here would feel safe knowing what you said. Thankfully, one of the younger white girl that was there, she's on my side, and she's just like, I'm out. And then she fucks off. She must have gone to her hostel room or her dorm or whatever it is. So now it's me, Portuguese girl. I think there's another random dude that might have been hanging out with him as well, and then night shift manager. And then the other Portuguese girl. So other Portuguese girl talks to a crazy Portuguese girl and is like trying to, and being like, in Portuguese, I presume, what's going on? What are you talking about, man? What's going on here? That's what I presume. And so she's obviously trying to justify what she said in Portuguese. And then like this, the night shift guy is just like fucking just paralyzed there. He looks like, was it Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite? I can't remember. Just this dumpy Hispanic dude, probably called Juan. I don't know, but just, not much of an individual. Not much of a spine, clearly. And so I'm like, while they're talking and distracted, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I had to do that to you, bro, but people need to know what's going on. Like, it's for their own safety here. And he's like, I understand. I respect your opinion. I know why I understand why you did what you did. So I'm like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about her? Because she has threatened violence. She is a risk to your patrons. And he's like, I cannot make that decision until the morning. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And it turns out they all sort of been hanging out for the last week and they sort of know each other. And he's like, she's been here for about a week and we know she has some mental health problems. And that this is the worst of what you said. And I respect your opinion, but I cannot say anything until the morning. And it's like, it's 4 a.m. at this point. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This chick has threatened violence and you're not going to do anything about it until the morning? Who can make this decision? And he goes, I can call the manager. And I'm like, call the manager. Call the fucking manager. Get this bitch kicked out of here because I don't feel safe in this place. I didn't do anything wrong. He's like, no, I think we should just wait until the morning to sort this out. And I'm like, she didn't have a fucking knife. I just snitched her out in front of everyone. She can pull a knife out and kick the fucking door down or break a window or some shit. And I'm going to end up, on fucking banged up abroad. So what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to keep her here? Because if she's staying, I'm fucking off. And he goes, yeah, well, it's up to you what you want to do, man. It's fun to do accents. I'm good at them. Fuck yous. I don't know why I'm getting like sheepish about it. Fuck it. It's funny. So, yeah, he, he's on her side. And I'm like, this guy must be trying to fuck her or something, or fuck one of them and doesn't want to ruin the party for them. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. I was going to check out the next day anyway. Just give me my deposit. There's $50 in cash. It's in that drawer. Give me the fucking cash and I'm getting out of here. Fuck this. And he's like, okay, I guess if you want to. And I'm like, yes, I want to. Get in that drawer. Give me my $50. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he was like, okay. Gives me the $50. I go directly to my dorm. I turn the light on in the room because I'm like, you know what? If the other people in the dorm were to wake up, they would probably want to know what the fuck is going on as well, right? So, like, I'm just hoping by circumstance they were, hey, what the fuck's going on here, man? And I'm like, hey, bro, some chick outside just threatened to kill people, so I'm getting the fuck out of here. You should probably get out too, on you. I pack my shit up. Everything's packed up. I order an Uber. I'm going to go to the Cosmopolitan Hotel where I'm supposed to check in tomorrow anyway. And I've left some stuff on the bench outside during this whole situation with this crazy chick. So I have to go outside and sort of confront her a little bit. And like, I'm just like, give my stuff back. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You got problems, lady. And she sort of like goads me a little bit. And then like, they're all hanging out. They're still just hanging out there, having a cigarette, talking shit. The night manager, the two Portuguese chicks, some other random, they're out just fucking chilling where I was before, where she's telling me that she's gonna kill people. And I'm like, fuck this. And as I'm leaving, I just yell at them, you're making a mistake. And I get into the Uber and I fuck off. And like, I'm razzled by this point. Like, again, just a long night of anxiety, too much coke, then this confronting situation. I'm just absolutely frazzled. I can't believe what the fuck has happened. I'm telling the Uber driver about it. And he's just like, yeah, wow, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Wow. And then you had the anxiety too. Oh, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. I just had to fucking spill my guts because I just could not believe what is happening. And it's my birthday. It's 4:30 in the morning, the 28th of August at this point. And I'm just like, fucking hell. This time 4 years ago, I was fucking bumping and grinding at a fucking pool party with Snoop Dogg performing. And now here I'm getting fucking death threats and having to deal with psychos. Crazy what happens in my life when I go to Vegas, particularly on my birthday. I get to the Cosmo. I go there. I'm like, hey, can I get a room? I'm going to check in tomorrow if it's Cisco anyway. I've just had this crazy situation. I explained the story to them, and I'm explaining it to this fucking wetback. I know it's racist, but I don't give a shit. Another fucking Mexican NPC. He's clearly very new to the role. He's got zero social skills. He's just got his script. And I'm tense, right? I'm just like, I'm not tense until he says no, and I'll explain. So I'm like, hey man, the situation, do you have a room? Can I get into my room a day early? Do you have a spare room that I can stay in? I'm happy to pay the fee. I just want to get to a room and be safe and relax. And this other fucking Pedro-looking motherfucker is just like, hey, let me look at the computer. And then he's got that nervous new guy energy. He's sweating a little bit, even though it's air conditioned and inside. You can tell that he has not been prepared to deal with this situation. He has got zero spine. And he goes, unfortunately, we don't have any rooms available. You can check in at 9 a.m. maybe if you like. And I'm like, you got nothing? You're completely booked out? You can't put me anywhere? You can't put me in a side room? There's not a spare room anywhere? I'm like, I'm willing to pay the 5 or 6 hours difference as a whole room just so I can relax until I'm checked in here as a fully paid customer. And like, I'm sorry, sir, unfortunately, we don't have any room. We have nothing for you. And I'm like, can you put me in a side room, a waiting room? I just need to fucking feel safe here, man. And he's like, I'm very sorry, sir. You can spend the time in the fucking casino if you want and hang around. I'm like, get me your fucking manager, right? I had to fucking start Karening in this situation. He gets his manager. It's some Asian bitch. She's an NPC as well, right? They've just got these mechanical scripts they have to deal with customers. They're not there for customer service. They are there to grease the wheels of capitalism. So I speak to her. I'll tell her the same story. I've had this shitty situation. I'm checking in like in less than 6 hours. I'll be checking into a room as a fully paid customer. Can you do something for me? And then she goes, picks up the phone, checks the system. No rooms available. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. Every single one is full. You can't put me anywhere. You can't do anything. And it's not like they were like empathetic to the situation either. It was like, sorry, sir, we cannot process this transaction at this time. Zero empathy. Frustrating. Really disappointing. So I gave them the dirtiest fucking looks and I got their names and I was like, what's your name? What's your name? I forget now. I think one of them is Charlotte. Yeah, right, your name's Charlotte Ping Ming Jing. And fucking greasy wetback schmick spick over there. Pedro, motherfucker. Just looking nervous, looking like he's in trouble. He's like, I am in trouble with my manager. I don't think I've dealt with the situation properly because I have to give my manager. Anyway, what I do is one of my mates, the guy that I got the coke with, he's got a room in the Cosmo. I give him a call. He's still up because even though it felt like a lifetime since I let go of those guys to go chill out, it's only been about 2 hours. He's still up, probably from the coke. And I'm like, hey man, I've had this crazy situation. Can I stay in your room at all? Can I just crash on the floor? So he's in the Cosmo already. He's already paid for the room. And thankfully, God bless the man. I'm not going to name him because it talked about drug references. But thank fuck, he lets me into his room. So he's let someone else crash in his room with him. So I'm sleeping back to back with this other guy in another queen size bed in the room. And we had a big old DM about what happened. I just had to process it. And I was like, fuck me, this is insane, man. What an insane fucking experience, man. Crazy couple of days. And yeah, it fucked me over, man. Fucking crazy. I've ranted about that for a good 15 minutes. But man, it was fucked. Proper fucked. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless you do it on a podcast and you tell everyone how fucked people are. Yeah. Besides that, the rest of Vegas is great. I'll tell you what though, I was wondering, like, my mental state was pretty up and down during Vegas and a bit of New Orleans as well. And you know, it's like, it's no surprise though. I'm fucking drinking Red Bulls, no workouts, not much food, 20,000 steps a day, hot, cold, fuck all sleep. Like I'll put your body through it. And I'm like wondering, why do I feel like shit? Why is my mental state gone to shit? I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I've only had an average of 4 hours of sleep for the last 5 days while I've been in Vegas. I've drank every night, which is something I don't do. I haven't really worked out. I've done 25,000 steps walking around Vegas and doing crazy shit. Man, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why, huh? But the rest of the conference was cool, man. It's a really great experience. You know, like I said, Cisco must have spent about $100 million US in this thing. Huge parties for all the different sales regions. Free alcohol, free food, free transportation. My hotel room was amazing. We had Pink play at our closing night as the closing night party of the conference. And she did a killer job. I thought she would have phoned it in because she's doing a corporate, but she fucking did a great experience. A lot of people had fun. I was at the back. I was vibing. I had a couple of edibles. I had to chew them all up because it was my last day in Vegas. I was like, fucking let's go, son. So I had a couple of edibles, enjoyed the party, the festivities. Again, you know, dark side of Vegas, you've got a bunch of fucking, tech bros with big money. So after the Pink party and the after party was at Wynn Beach Club, someone had booked out a private booth at one of the pool clubs. So we've got a private pool, a couple of private booths at this big beach club. bottle service, man, bitches galore, and just all of the sins that you would expect from Sin City. I'm doing fucking bumps in the bathroom. I'm drinking. I'm dancing. I got my shirt off. I'm in full party mode. We have a private pool. Everyone's too scared to get in the pool. Me and two other dudes get in the pool. We're having a great time. Everyone's a fucking pussy, man, because they're all concerned about their careers. Everyone's drunk and doing coke at a fucking pool party. Like, we're all in this together. Just have fun, you squares. Anyway, I got to show off the rig. That's probably the reason why I did it. I wanted to, let myself loose. Enjoy the fucking lifestyle, man. Enjoy the moment. That's what I did. So yeah, that was Vegas. Fuck, I've been talking for like almost an hour just about how crazy Vegas was. And that was only, what, 4 days? 5 days? A week? Yeah, Thursday till Thursday. Man. I didn't even talk about going to the Raiders game. But yeah, crazy time in Vegas, man. Quite an experience. Oh, yeah. Didn't even mention the fact that what was it? Day 2 or day? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the night that all that crazy shit happened with the Portuguese chick, during the day, I actually went on this beautiful helicopter tour of the Grand Canyon. I can't believe that happened in the same 24 hours as that. I spent like $600 US to get this really beautiful helicopter tour of the Mojave Desert. Got to go into a helicopter, into the rim, like into the depths of the Grand Canyon. I went to the Grand Canyon last time I was in the US. It's beautiful. I can't explain it. It's like the horizon is so beautiful. It looks like it's painted. It doesn't even look real. It's amazing. So I was like, I got to go back to the Grand Canyon. It's fucking fantastic. I splash out and get the helicopter tour. It takes you, across the Mojave into the depths of the canyon. You get to see the depths of it. You see the river running through it. Amazing. I'll put some more clips up here. A bit of B-roll as well. Flying around. I wish that we could have stayed in the canyon. Like, it was just a fly-in. We didn't get to stay and go check it out. I wish we did that for a bit. But whatever. Fly back, and then I took a rafting cruise of the Hoover Dam and the Colorado River, which is, again, beautiful, nice, picturesque. Just these big canyon walls. I don't give a fuck about the Hoover Dam. Americans love the Hoover Dam because it was probably the last piece of structural engineering superiority they've had in the last, God knows how long it is. Who gives a fuck about the Hoover Dam? It's now the 18th best dam in the world. Who gives a fuck? Right? They seem to just milk it, just want to squeeze it out. Hey, go check out this dam. I don't know. So, move on from Vegas. I've done the business part of my trip. It's all pleasure, baby. I go to New Orleans. Now, I've always had this fascination with New Orleans. It always seems like it was fun. They call it the Big Easy. There's jazz and there's parties and there's that nice Southern culture, Louisiana Southern culture. Seems welcoming and inviting. So I was pretty keen to go to New Orleans. New Orleans, sir. Be a Southern gentleman, if you rather. Ooh, excuse me. I wonder if you can hear the gurgles because of this lavalier mic. Oof. Gassy, excuse me. So, go to New Orleans, fly across, and it is a sticky place. It is hot, it is humid, and it is sticky as fuck. Like, god damn. I hate humidity. That was one of the first things when I got there. I was like, oh my god, this moisture, this ugh, is there constantly. And I got to say, New Orleans is an interesting place. It's obviously got a big chunk of American history in there with the French Quarter and, big band jazz and, being a southern state and with the swamps and the southern fried chicken and all that sort of stuff. But I got to say, like, it's okay. It's not bad. Like everything that about New Orleans happens essentially in the central city in the French Quarter. Everything else is kind of shit. Well, it's not shit, but it's just a bit eh. Um, you know, probably because of what happened with Hurricane Katrina, like everything's a bit fucked. Like all the roads are a bit shit, all the footpaths. But that could be just most of Middle America, to be honest. Like they don't support their infrastructure at all. It makes me being in America makes me appreciate how good Australia is. It really is much a nice place. Anyway, so I go there. I go to New Orleans, visit the French Quarter. It's a beautiful part of town, right? They've got French architecture. They've got a lot of beautiful southern US style housing, right? Cobblestone streets. It's definitely got some more modernish history, industrial history. It's been a big city since like the 1700s or something like that, as the main French colony, as the only real French colony in the US. So yeah, pretty interesting place. It's known for its food. Gotta say, the food's a bit meh. Like, yes, it's got great seafood, right? Got a crawfish boil, that's pretty interesting. Crawfish boil is just basically a bunch of seafood boiled in a flavored soup, and they serve it to you. It is pretty tasty, right? A crawfish is basically just, it's like if a prawn was like the first generation of a Pokemon and a lobster was a fully evolved version, a crawfish is the semi-evolved version. It's the Charmeleon. It's the Charmeleon of the crustacean family, right? It's got a harder shell than a prawn. It's got some little pincers, but you basically eat it the same way, right? It's got a bit of armor. It's just got a bit of armor, a couple of pincers. You still eat it the same way. Tear the head off, open the shell up. The shell's a lot harder, so you got to break it up properly and just eat the body, right? Things like po' boys, which is basically just like a po' boy is a banh mi with seafood in it. It's like a white person banh mi. And what I mean by that is obviously the French, it's a French colony. And so the same baguette roll, the same crunchy baguette roll that they use for banh mi's is there. They use the crunchy banh mi roll. They put some seafood in there, some shrimp, some dressings in there, some condiments, bit of lettuce. Instead of the usual fucking, spring onion that you put in a banh mi. I did not really think about that yet. Yeah, a shrimp po' boy is a white person's banh mi with seafood. It really is. But yeah, so that's not too bad. And I had some gumbo in it. Gumbo is just like this weird, I don't know, it's like a weird stewy soup sort of thing. I don't really rate it too much. You've also got the big net, which is like a really dense donut. Pretty nice, but heavy, just covered in sugar, just obesity food, What else was good? What else did I have there? Oh, I got some fucking Louisiana fried chicken. That's some good shit, man. Delicious fried chicken from Gus's. Didn't get to go to something Maze or whatever it was. But yeah, tasty fried chicken, sides, good eating. I got it at Gus's. Good place. I kept the cup as a souvenir. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, New Orleans is great to visit. I don't know if I'd live there. I definitely wouldn't live there. I don't know if I'd go back. It's like I've experienced it and I'm done. Like the big thing in New Orleans is Bourbon Street. And Bourbon Street is known for its Mardi Gras, which are non-gay, non-queer. They're known for having just big raucous parties in the street. You can drink on the street. It's a wild place, right? But essentially, Bourbon Street is CUDA for Americans, right? You can drink on the street. It probably had some culture a while ago, but now it's just become this tourist trap. So people are just force feeding you alcohol and enforcing dumb alcoholic behavior, and it's filthy, right? I went to Bourbon Street on a long weekend. It was Labor Day weekend. There was the first college football game of the season with Louisiana in it, and there was also this event called Southern Decadence, which is just a big gay festival that they have, and it's celebrated on Bourbon Street for the long weekend, right? So just imagine this big cobblestone street, and they block off the entire thing, right? Big cobblestone street, blocked off by the cops because they know that people are there to party. That's one of the things as well. I love the fact that America, and we do it in Australia, but not so much, but the police will block off the streets to let people be rowdy. And that's pretty cool. But it also means they're also a bit more forgiving about people being loose on the street, which is a bit hypocritical, I think. But I mean, because if you do that in Australia, people are just fucked, right? And again, but that's the problem, right? Like I said, Bourbon Street is cooler for Americans. So you've got rednecks and dipshits and, American bogans just tottering around with a yard glass in hand or a grenade in hand, which is some sort of cocktail or a hurricane or something like that. I didn't really get any of the drinks there. And yeah, so on Bourbon Street, there's a massive street, probably about almost a kilometer long, right? So on one side of the street, one side of Bourbon Street, you've got all these college sorority frat people, right? And they're just, enjoying alcohol for the first time, and they're all in their team colors and like, yay, football, yay, college, yay. And then on the other side, you've got a bunch of burly bears that are just outwardly gay, good on them, having fun, shirts off, very revealing clothing, just enjoying the fact they've got guts, right? Big burly bears. And I'm walking down the street a couple of times up and down just to see what's going on, just to see what the vibe is. And I tell you what, those bears, they'll get you, man. Because they didn't, because there's Mardi Gras, right? So everyone's got the beads and shit. But those bears did not want to put those Mardi Gras beads around my neck. Know what I mean? But hey, it was fun. Got a few compliments, had a few laughs. Got way too fucked up on Bourbon Street. again, I was like, I'm like, I got to slow shit down, man. Like, my mental state is falling to shit. I'm not sleeping much. I'm not eating much. I'm walking a shit ton. It's fucking hot. I'm dehydrated. And again, I'm not much of an alcohol guy. I'm much of a coke guy. So I'm like, hey, can I get some weed around here? Yes, you can. A bunch of dudes walking around on the street in the depths of the night with edibles and joints. And they're like, they're overpriced, but fuck it. I mean, $15 for a joint. I'll take it for another 1 grammer. Smoke another half a joint to myself. Get way too high. And then I'm just, again, got anxiety. I have to sit down on a stoop for about 40, 45 minutes. And I know that I'm anxious, but I'm just like, all right, just chill out. I don't really need to see what's going on here. It's a bit much. I'm by myself. It's a bit too crazy for me. I'm good to just people watch for a while. But I'm like, hey, I want to see what there's a lot of vantage points. Like, it's a lot of multi-level bars that are on Bourbon Street. So I'm like, I'll go check out what's going upstairs. There's this great view of Bourbon Street. I'll put it as B-roll in here now. I've got this great video of Bourbon Street where it's just rampant people everywhere. There's fucking disposable cups and fucking drinks everywhere and just rubbish. And it's pandemonium. And I pay the security guard like $10. I'm like, hey man, can I get a good shot? Because I just want to get a good vantage shot of Bourbon Street. Just from my own memories. He's like, can I pay $10 and I can get a good shot? He's like, yeah, all right, man. He was black. Yeah, all right, man. But don't get caught up here now. So I go in, it's chained off. I jump the chain because I'm allowed to. He fucks off for a bit. I'm taking photos. And then I see a gaggle of these women about my age coming through, and they want in because I'm just one dude in this cordon off section of the best view in town, and it's just me. And they want to get the selfie. They want to get they want to get it for the gram. And they're like, how did you get through there? And I was like, I paid for the privilege to get through here. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, you girls want to come in? And they're like, yeah. So I let them in. They're a bunch of chicks on a hens night. They're all about my age. They're pretty cool, pretty hot too. I was like, is anyone here single? Because I'm pretty single. So they get there, they get a photo with them. We start dancing, vibing, chatting. They're all engaged, unfortunately. The hen, she's fucked off already to bed. I was like, this bitch is shit. What a square. And I was like, because again, I'm drunk, I'm high. I'm scratching the surface. So I'm like, ladies, what do we think of the groom? Are we okay with him? And there was a notable pause of like, yeah, he's all right. He's good. And I'm like, that's not the most enthusiastic yes I'm hearing here. Like, is she just settling for what she can get? And he's like, no, he's a good guy. But I don't want to be here. If I'm the husband, I don't want to be known as, yeah, he's a good guy. I want to be like, hey, that's a cool dude. They're great together. You know, they're going to have a great time together as husband and wife. I give that marriage less than 10 years tops. So that was Bourbon Street. Yeah, these chicks, I'm hanging out with them for a bit. We get a photo at a photo booth. They're all like doing like wacky poses. I'm trying to be a fucking cool guy in the background. It's a fucking hilariously dumb photo. I might put that up as B-roll. I look like a fucking idiot. I'm just like, staunching on these motherfuckers. And I'm just like, I don't care. I'm high. I'm on my own. I'm just enjoying life. I'm just seeing what the world throws at me. Eventually, I get home. I'm like, man, Bourbon Street's fucked. The good part of town is Frenchman Street. Go check that out. That's a lot of fun because that is where all the live music is. You know, New Orleans is known for its live music and its jazz. I got to go to Preservation Hall, which is pretty cool. Preservation Hall is the home of New Orleans jazz and big band jazz. It's been gutted, but then also kept as a bit of a, what do they call it? Heritage. It's a heritage. It's a heritage building, so they keep it heritage. But what that means is they will put on acts there for $40 a ticket, all right, $40 a ticket to listen to 45 minutes of old school big band jazz in a very small room that fits about 25 people with no air conditioning. So I'm enjoying the music, but I am flop sweating in the meantime. I'm just going, whew. I mean, guys, they would have had the windows open back in the day. Let's get a little bit of oxygen in here and a little bit of cold air. It's fucking, everywhere else is refrigerated. Why not here? So I got to tick that off the list, which is pretty cool. And yeah, like New Orleans, a cool place. Would I go back? Nah. Maybe if someone took me around on a tour or a bit more of what I saw, but I ticked off everything I wanted to do there. Oh, I went on a swamp tour as well. I'm going to put that up as a clip on my socials. I've been learning how to edit. So I've been making little snippets of my trip and putting little highlights together, learning how to edit with a bit of music in the background. Just something for me. Nice little bit of practice, you know? But yeah, I went to the swamps, saw some gators, snapping turtles. Didn't get to see any catfish, but I ate some catfish. That was pretty cool. Yeah, New Orleans, not bad. It's an experience. We move on. Now, I know that this pod is running a bit long, and we'll push through because I'll talk more about Austin in a later episode because I think it's very important. But let me talk to you about one of the best days, one of the most synchronous days I've had in my life in Austin, right? So I've had my fill of New Orleans. I fly to Austin, right? I'm looking forward to doing some cool shit while I'm there. I want to go to Onnit Gym. You know, I'm a big fan of Aubrey's work. I love Alpha Brain. Onnit makes Alpha Brain. This is the home of Onnit. I'm very excited to go to the gym there, learn a few things, methodologies. I want some barbecue. I want to shoot guns. I want to experience Texas, even though Austin is a blue city in the red state. Got to go see Rogan. I want to go to Wine Edge Studios. I want to see if I can go Elon Musk hunting. Maybe I can find his crazy little house or whatnot. So there's lots of things I want to do there, right? So the first day I get to Austin, I have my own Joe Rogan experience, right? So I get in. I get to On It. It's one of the first things I do when I get into Austin is I want to go exercise, sweat some demons out of the last few days while I've been in New Orleans. So I get to On It, and I get there at 11 a.m., right? People that know I believe in the synchronicities of life. I believe in the magic numbers. I collect the magic numbers on my phone just to show as a breadcrumb to myself about the journey that I am on. It is the path, right? The universe is giving me breadcrumbs, and I believe that. I do that. I get to 11 there, 11. I book a personal training session. I want to learn from one of the coaches there about some methodologies, about the On It way, these maces and clubs and non-conventional styles of exercise to achieve their human optimization, which is cool. I get to go into the private gym at the back because I've booked a personal training session. So they get to go, they give me the good stuff, right? I haven't done the personal training session yet. I'll do that the next day. But because I'm booking it, they let me use the equipment that's in the back. I go to the back room in the private gym. Lo and behold, within minutes of me being there is Kyle Kingsbury. Now, Kyle Kingsbury is the head of the director of human optimization at On It. He is one of Aubrey's right-hand men. He is a man mountain of fitness, health, spirituality, healthy masculinity, and I am awed that I get to see this man within minutes of being at this gym, right? So I'm just like starstruck. He can see it. There's this weird vibe of, when someone's in the room and they want to talk to you. I had that, and I was like just plucking up the courage to go talk to him. And I did it because, like, you know what, man? Like, how many chances am I going to get like this ever again? So, and I want to be appreciative. I'm not going to be like, hey, man, hey, Kyle. It's like, I want to be like, and I said, this is what I said to him. I was like, hey, man, sorry to bother you during the workout. My name's Jameel. I just want to say thank you. I just want to show my appreciation for you. I'm a big fan of what you do. A big believer in what Aubrey does and Fit for Service and On It. And it's just an absolute privilege to be around you. And he's like really nice about it, as he should be. He's a good dude, right? He's a great dude. I shake his hand, we have a bit of a chat. We talk about Burning Man. Aubrey's still in Arizona, so he wasn't in Austin at the time. And I get a photo with him, which I'll chuck up. It's a great experience. I'm like, fuck, man, I am blessed to be here. I do my workout. I organize to come back to On It the next day to do my personal training session. Next door to On It is a place called Kuya, where they do like a lot of advanced healing practices, sauna and cold therapy, IV, meditation, mindfulness, all that nice new age shit that I'm into and I've talked to you guys about on the pod, right? So from there, from On It, I want to go to, what's it called? Barton Springs, right? Barton Springs was a place that was told to go to. They have this place called Zilker Park, which is this big park. It's about 300 acres in the south of Austin, which is like a national park, right? So they kept it pristine, they keep it beautiful. Barton Springs is a natural spring. These natural springs that they've converted into a public pool. It's beautiful, right? Natural river water. They've got a diving board. They've got, nice, and because it's Texas and it's like equatorial, it's sunny all the time. There's lots of people lounging around. I'm having a great time. I get to refresh myself in the waters of the natural spring. I sum up the courage to go on the diving board and do a few jumps. Like, I am not someone that is coordinated enough to do jumping or diving off a board. But I was like, I'm going to face my fears and have a bit of fun and do it. So I did it. I felt great. Another highlight of this place, tops optional, right? So there are gorgeous women all around me, tits out, right? And I'm not trying to be a perv, but I'm going to fucking look, right? I am all for freeing the nip. I am all for the equality of male versus female nipples. It is the body. We should not be ashamed of it. But ladies, you need to recognize we're going to look. We're going to look, and we're going to look for a long time while people adjust to it. It's just the way that we are. It is in our nature, right? So yes, it's going to be a little bit awkward. Thank fuck I had sunglasses on, right? But I enjoyed the view nonetheless, in an appreciative way, not in a creepy way. From my perspective anyway. Maybe there's a few ladies going, what the fuck's this guy doing? It's just like, I wasn't like that at all. I'm just kidding. I'm having fun with it. So I go to this spring, right? Beautiful Barton Springs. I'm like, I booked a ticket to go see Joe Rogan at Friends. Rogan does 2 shows on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, 1 per night, where he brings in a bunch of comics and he works on his hour at the Vulcan Gas Company, which is a comedy club in Central Austin. Thankfully, this club is right around the corner from my hostel. So I'm like, sweet, I buy a ticket. The tickets are pretty much already sold out. Like the room's already sold out. So I can only get these shitty seats at the back. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just take what I can get, right? So I'm heading back from Barton Springs to my hostel so I can freshen up and head out to the show. On the way back, I'm pretty hungry, right? And then I bump into Terry Black's Barbecue. Now, this is a place that Rogan has recommended on his podcast multiple times to the people that have visited Austin. It's fucking delicious. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm going to get some Terry Blacks. So I get into Terry Black's, get a brisket, some ribs, a few sides, I get a beer. Man, I'm vibing. Like, what a day. Of, from working out to beautiful springs, gorgeous women, delicious food. I'm sitting there enjoying my ribs, enjoying my beer, just in the sun, just having a great old fucking time. All right. So I enjoy it. I've been scooting around town, by the way, just like the Lime scooters. They've got Lime scooters everywhere in Austin. I've been using one of those. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to use them a lot more here in Melbourne. It's a great way to get around. It's a bit of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm scooting back. I get back to the hostel. I freshen up. I meet some of the dudes in my hostel. Mark is a really cool dude. Hey, Mark, if you listen, he's into comedy as well. He's going to go see Rogan at the Vulcan the next night. I get to know him. I get to know some people in the hostel. Cool dudes. I head in to the Vulcan, just up the road. I'm in the line, get to chatting to people on the line. And what they have is this upgrade system. And this upgrade system is like, hey, okay, the tables are all sold out. You're in the fucking standing room at the back. But if no one shows up for their table, you can upgrade for an extra $10 and you can sit at the tables, right? Because it's 2 levels and I'm on the top level and you can't see shit. You have to watch it on a screen. I'm like, I didn't come to watch comedy on a screen. I want to see this stage. I'm a comic. So I'm like, all right, I'll do the upgrade. It's an extra $10 if it happens. Sign me up. Lovely girl signs me up. She's cute as hell, by the way. It's like, whew. So I'm sitting there, I'm hanging out, I'm vibing. It's just me. And then lo and behold, just before the show is about to start, this girl comes up to me. She goes, yep, come with me. Picks another 2 random dudes and this other lady. And they're like, come down with me. You got the upgrade. And I'm like, fucking sweet. I head down with her. I'm just happy to be involved, just happy to be, being able to see the stage. And I'm going to be close to Joe and all these fucking other acts. I don't know who he's got on. It's just his and friends, right? So it's a random lineup. And we get the fucking front and center table on the stage. The table is literally attached to the stage. Like, I am less than a meter, from this stage. My feet are up on it. I have to look back and up to look at the people. I'm so fucking close to the stage. I'm like, holy fucking shit. I'm going to be this close to Joe Rogan and all these other comics. Like, I could touch them. I could fucking touch them if I wanted to, right? So I'm like, holy shit, to the girl next to me. We can't believe it. She buys me a drink. Like, we're just chatting, being like, I can't believe this is happening. And then, yeah, show starts. Great lineup. Hans Kim, obviously one of Joe's new favorites, and I think he's a regular in Kill Tony. David Lucas, another regular in Kill Tony. Who else was on? Brian Simpson, hilarious comic. Duncan Trussell's there. Tony Hinchcliffe. And then Rogan, man. Rogan comes up and he's stoned off his face and he's there doing his hour, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit. I could reach out and touch Joe Rogan right now if I wanted to. I could reach out and touch his foot and then get the shit beat out of me because I touched him. But I'm like just startled, like in the presence of one of the most powerful and influential people in the world right now, particularly in the world of comedy and entertainment. And he's there, way stauncher in person. Fuck, he's juiced. Like he's got TRT, but he's fucking staunch. And he has this big fucking booger in his left nostril. And and it's big, like, and it's distracting. And he's too high to care. He doesn't know what's going on. And I'm just like, holy shit. I am staring up Joe Rogan's nose. And I am staring at this guy's fucking booger. Like, I'm so close to him, I could just like be like, Joe, hey, come here. Look at that. You got a bear in the cave. I could have done that. That would fucking ruin my career and probably ruin my life if I did that. But I was like, in just awe, right? And Joe, he does an hour. He's working at his hour in front of everyone. It's a great set. And I'm just there, just like, holy fucking shit, man. And I was just like, this is the most insane day of my life, right? Like, I'm not a fucking full-on Rogan head. I am and I'm not. Like, I don't fucking watch all of his specials and watch every ep of his podcast, but his mentality what he's enabled for the creative mindset in the comedy industry and in the digital industry, right? He's been the godfather of that for the last 5-10 years now. His mindset of abundance for everyone, right? The comedy does not have to be so competitive. Like, everyone can have a piece of the pie as long as you are unique and who you are and a great comedian. You can have a place and a great living from doing it if you just keep working at it. That mindset has enabled things like YMH, like Andrew Schultz and Flagrant, Bobby Lee. All of these great comedy podcasts that you see around have basically all emanated from Rogan's influence in the comedy world. And that's why I look up to him, right? So to see the man that has enabled this and sort of given me a lot of perspective on life, that has enabled the things that I'm working on right now, was crazy, right? And I could not believe that it had happened, and I'm really, really grateful to whatever is looking out for me out there. Really grateful to it. So after the show, here's where it dips a little bit. I'm like, I wonder if I can meet Joe, right? I'm like, this day cannot get any better. I'm going to roll the dice. How can I meet Joe? So I go to the back of the club because I know he's got to leave at some point, right? And the Tesla's there. And I'm like, Joe loves Teslas. That's Joe's Tesla. And I'm hanging out the back alley, right? And there's a big burly dude in the fucking Tesla. And clearly he's a security guard, right? And I'm just like hovering around like a fucking bad smell going around. And you know what? I'm just plucking up the courage. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. If this day cannot get any better, I'm just going to be brave. I'm just going to go up and talk to this guy, right? So I go up to the car and I go, hey, you're Joe's security detail, huh? And he goes, yep. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm from Australia. I'm wearing my Aussie Comedy Network t-shirt, by the way, because I wanted to see if I could meet Joe and just thank him, right? I wanted to thank him for his influence and just show my appreciation and reciprocation for what he's inspired in me and for me to work on, right? I'm like, hey, man, I'm from Australia. I started a company because of Joe. I'd love to just meet him and thank him and say hello. Is there any chance I can meet him? And he goes, nah, man, doesn't do meet and greets. And I go, fair enough. And he's like, is there any chance at all? And he's like, nah, he doesn't like being snuck up on, man. And I go, look, okay, you know what? I'm just going to hang around to the side over there. Is that cool? Maybe you can say hi or something like that. And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I said no and was polite to you because you were pretty nice, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I'm like, look, I've had an amazing day. I'm going to roll the dice anyway. I'm just going to hang around the alleyway and just see if he says hi or see if he pops out or anything like that. Which clearly, in hindsight, is me just being so fucking starstruck by this day. Like, not thinking about, like, this guy's like, hey, man, can I meet Joe? No. All right, I'm going to stay over there and try and put your fucking main guy at risk by saying hi anyway. I'm a fucking idiot. But hey, I'm giving it a shot, right? So I'm hanging out the back of this alleyway, like 20 meters away from the car by myself. This guy's sus on me hard, the security guard. And then a couple of the other people at the venue at Vulcan, they're like, who the fuck's this guy? What's this guy hanging around? He's like, I don't know, he's supposed to say hi. And they're like, let me go talk to him. So a couple of dudes who are also comics are like, hey, man, what's your deal? And I'm just like, hey, I'm just here to say hi to Joe and see if I can meet him. And he's like, man, he doesn't really like that. From one comic to another, don't try that shit. And I'm like, look, thank you, appreciate it. I'm going to try. 10 minutes later, Duncan Trussell walks out, get to his car. He doesn't make eye contact with me. Clearly, the security guys have been like, hey, there's some fucking psycho dude in the alleyway trying to reach out to people. Just keep an eye out. So Duncan's walked out with another bar staff member, clearly to use me as protection as a human shield. He doesn't make eye contact. He's hiding away. And I'm just like, okay, this is a bit much. Like, he's a really nice guy. And I'm probably scaring the shit out of people right now. So I do that. And then so another dude comes out and he's like, hey, man, again, what's your story? I'm like, hey, man, I'm a comic. I'm from Australia. And he's just like, dude, just don't. Just don't bother, man. It's not going to work out for you. And I'm like, all right. It's been like half an hour I've been waiting outside at this point. I'm like, I'm going to take the hint. He's like, yeah, man. Just, hey, we're a bunch of comics. We're going to go hang up the street at the bar up the road. Come hang out afterwards, but don't try this shit. And I'm like, all right. I'll take the hint. I'll take the hint. Sorry, fucked up. I just sort of waved to the security guard going, I got the hint. I'm fucking off. I'm sorry. And he's just like, yep. I just walk off. I actually go down to that other bar, meet some other open micers. It's cool, man. I'm just like, look, hey, I took a chance. I rolled the dice. I tried. Didn't quite work out, but fuck. What an experience, huh? What a wild day in Austin. My first day there. All of that just happened in one fucking day. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the other 2 days, man, were also fucking great, dude. The next day I went to On It, did a full training session for like 2 hours. I'll put some footage up of that, looking staunch, got my gear off, got the fucking muscles pumping, sweating hard on the maces. You'll see some of that there, It's just this amazing experience that I'm like, 4 years ago, last time I came to the US, I was this anxious, unhealthy, unfit individual. And then like 4 years later, I'm at the company, at the place that has sort of helped me set my path right. And I'm working out, amongst the giants, amongst the greats, in an elite training facility, learning their ways, in a great physical condition, great mental condition. Like, it was crazy, man. It was really good. I went shooting guns. And then I think I went out somewhere. And then the last day, I went to these cool vintage stores. It was my last day in town. So I did a bit of shopping for myself, got this mad robe that you can see if you're on the YouTubes. And then I went out to 6th Street. Again, in 6th Street, they got great bars in Austin, a lot of live music, crazy fun bars, mechanical bulls, heaps of games. Drinks are cheap. They block the street off so you can get wild and get rowdy. No one gives it's pretty, not lawless, but it's pretty loose out there. And it's just an amazing experience, man. Austin is cool. I'm going to talk a lot more about it in another ep because, Austin is the future, man. I believe it. It's a crazy, crazy place. And it's a great way to round up my trip. Got me thinking about a lot, which you'll learn more about. Bit of sizzle for you. Bit of stay tuned, huh? But yeah, man, that was my trip to the US. That was my holiday. I got back last Sunday, September 11th. You know that the war on terror is over when a Muslim can fly on September 11th and nothing happens. I flew back, got in at 6 a.m. Sunday. No jet lag. I've been pretty consistent back into my routine this week, which has been great. Fucking mwah, God bless. Thank you. But yeah, what an experience, man. It's certainly this experience has created a lot of reflection for me, a lot of introspection, a lot of appreciation about where I've come from, right? Like I said, the cycle of time 4 years ago, how much has changed within my perspective in life, how much there is to change. There's a lot to analyze about my experiences and about my own thoughts and how I, interacted with the world. And maybe I'll talk about that in a couple more later eps. There's certainly some reoccurring themes around how I perceive myself and the wanting that I have around the feminine and women. And I'll definitely talk about that in a later ep. I think it's important, particularly for men. So, yeah, a great experience. I'm excited to be back. There's certainly going to be some interesting changes that come from this experience. And I will tell you all about it, dear listeners and dear viewers. Thank you, Binges. It's been an experience. I hope that you got something out of this. It's definitely been a pretty chaotic podcast, a pretty long one as well, but I think I've told you some pretty fucking cool stories. I reckon you'll hang all the way through. It's been a lot of fun. We're back to normal programming as of now. Every week, Tuesday, it'll come out. So keep in touch. Hey, I don't expect everyone to be back on board straight away from the pod, but if you have, thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you've got questions, if you've got feedback, hit me up in the DMs, hit me up on @JRaymond on Instagram, email me j@aussiecomedynetwork.com.au. You should know where to find me. Hit up the pages that I put my content out on. Let's chat, let's communicate, let's connect. Is there anything that I can talk to you about that'll give you some value, dear reader, dear listener, dear viewer? Let me know. All right. I've been Jameel Raymond. Thank you for paying attention to the Binge Thinker. I love you all. Goodbye.